With round two, Moses Malone is the greatest player to ever wear the number 22 in NBA history, not of all sports, but in NBA history. How do you feel about that? Are you in or are you out on that with Moses Malone?
I'm gonna say in.
Okay. The floor is
But but I feel like there's a couple of players. If you go to Clyde Drexler, you got Elgin Baylor, of course. Then I would say in a better team setting, somebody that thrived in that environment too was Tayshaun Prince, who wore the 22. I don't necessarily. I feel like he's a talent, but I don't consider Rudy Gay like a prominent star, even though he wore the number 22. But I would say, other than Moses, I would have to give props to Tayshaun Prince because he understood how to be the glue. He understood how to be that missing scorer or that extra defender, or if Ben or she couldn't do something on the boards, he was that guy that was getting that extra 10, 15 rebounds, whether it was assists or just anything, man. He was just a very, very tough player to have on your team, man. So I think Moses came up a lot different based on the environment being what it was back in that time. It was a different landscape, whether it was just toughness, the physicality. Everybody was aggressive. It wasn't ticky tack, soft touch foul. Everything is a flagrant now these days. It's just, I don't like it. So I feel like Moses was able to bang and be as aggressive, and he was I feel like he was that silent motor to those Philly teams. You know what I'm saying? Everybody would always go to um Ivoroni, you got Mo Cheeks, you had Doc, of course, who I think is probably the best or the greatest Sixer ever. But I think Moses was that silent motor that was that, he was to Philly how Kareem was to the Lakers, where nobody really wanted to defy, not defy, but nobody really pushed back against Cat. I feel like Moses was that constant in the Philly locker room at that time. Moses was that guy.
for Philly. If this was based on Philly, I would 100% agree with you.
Yeah.
But with this being with in all NBA history, I disagree. I'm out. You named some good basketball players in there with Clyde Drexler and Elgin Baylor, and one of those you were correct on, in my opinion. You just didn't pick him at one. And I have to go with Elgin Baylor. With Elgin Baylor, man, he scored 61 points in Game 5 of the 1962 NBA Finals, a season which he only played on weekends due to his service as an Army Reserve. Come on, man. When you're fighting for our country, and you're getting NBA championship, or you're fighting for the NBA championship and you're fighting for our country at the same time, you got to give it to our man, Mr. Patriotic. We just celebrated 4th of July last week here on the In or Out Sports Debate with Mr. Jarrell Owens as a Mr. Patriot here. And as I'm going to get animated here on the show with Elgin Baylor, I'm going to say, my man, that you are saying that because you are a homer for the Philadelphia 76ers, and you should be picking my man, Elgin Baylor, as the pick and being out on this so we could play the special clip that we should play if we were both out on a subject. But we can't because you had to go with the homer pick and say Moses Malone.
Look, man, Elgin Baylor, that's a totally different episode at a totally different time of year. That's a Black History fact. That's what that Elgin Baylor stat is. But collectively, that's where I went. Like all the respect and admiration for him, of course. I just feel like at that time, and even now looking back in hindsight, it's still not as appreciated or even recognized as much as it as it should be. But um overall to his team, I don't know if the longevity is the same. You know what I'm saying? As far as like how I said, just that constant impact. I'm not too sure. And wasn't Elgin Baylor a Laker?
He was a Laker, but he
Yeah, I
played for
don't.
14 years, so he did have a pretty sizable career, and he fought for our country. That's why I got to give it to him on that, because with everything he did, Moses only got you one. I mean, he's still talented, but and he's from VA, so I got to give you all that with all that. He's from Petersburg.
I see. Okay, so now you talking about me being showing favoritism to home.
I
What do
should
you
favor
say?
him because I'm in South Chesterfield. I'm not far from that, so I mean,
All right,
yeah.
so tell me this then, 1-on-1. Who are you taking? You taking Moses or you taking Elgin Baylor?
I'm taking Elgin Baylor.
All right, yeah, that 61 was kind of tough. I give you
Yeah,
that.
I got to
I give you
61
that.
in the finals while being in the military at the same time, and he could only play in the NBA on weekends. The schedule was already set for the NBA, but he could only play on weekends because he was fighting for our country Monday through Friday. So you're going through the grind Monday through Friday, and then you're fighting on the court after that on the weekends. You got all my respect working 7 days a week during the NBA season, and then taking them to the finals. Come on, man.
He ain't take them to the finals now.
He helped lead them to the finals. We'll say that.
All right.
Sertoba Media, where the struggle is real to be awesome.